So today we are making a soft pizza pretzels. The learning target today is the bread method. First thing you're going to do is the bullets at the top of the page is preheat your oven to 475. Yes, it is a hot oven. We are going to be baking bread pretzel, and it does require a very hot oven. And you're also going to line your cookie sheet. Now it says gray cookie sheet. That's what we use at school. You can use whatever cookie sheet you have. And I would like to put foil in just so that it's easy to take out of the pan. Okay, so you don't have to put foil in, but if you want to save on cleanup, it's a really good idea. Put the shiny side up, and when you are spraying, put your tin upright and do the light coating. Now I'm also going to spray a medium bowl. This is going to be used for the dough when it's rising. So I'm just going to give that a little bit of a spray as well. All right, so you're going to place the first 4 ingredients in your medium bowl. Now today we're making bread, and we're going to be using yeast. Yeast is very different from other leavening agents, and that requires 2 things for a dough to rise. It requires a liquid, a warm liquid, and it requires a sugar. Now, you can make bread dough without sugar. It just takes longer to rise. So this will activate it quicker, okay? And the warm water will also help it to rise quicker as well. So you could use cold, but it will just take a long time. So we want to make sure it goes a little bit quicker. So we're going to use the brown sugar, and we're also going to add some warm water. Okay, so 5 mils of quick rise yeast. If you have regular yeast, that works as well. But quick rise is just an easy, quick version. 5 mils. To that, you're going to add 5 mils of brown sugar. If you don't have brown sugar, you can use white sugar, is fine too. This just adds a little extra layer of flavor. 1 mil of salt. And just pour that in. And then I have here 125 mils of warm water. The water should be no hotter than 110, a little less than that. The way I like to check it is I just put my little pinky in, and this is more sensitive to heat, so I can tell if I want a lukewarm temperature, all right? And when you're measuring, use a liquid measuring cup and bend down eye level on the counter to get the 125. If your liquid is too hot, it's going to kill the yeast, and then it won't rise at all. So you want to make sure rather too cool than too hot. Pour that in. And you're going to see it's kind of a funny looking brown mixture with brown flecks in it. I'm going to give that a stir. And now you're going to add your flour gradually. So about 250 mils, but it might be a little more or a little less. And the best way to add it is do about half of it in first. And then give it a stir. And then you add a little bit more, and then you just have to work in the last little bit, and you might need to, it looks like I'll probably need a little bit more, so I'm just going to keep adding it. You really have to use your muscles on this one, because we have to work that flour in so that it's not too sticky. So I'm going to add the rest of it, and probably a little bit more. Work it in. It should turn into a ball. And then when you touch it, it should not be sticky, because we are going to knead this for 5 minutes. And you can see it's really kind of sticky yet, so I'm going to add a little more. Let's give it a stir. Okay, now you can see that it's coming together. It's still a tiny bit sticky, and go like this. Okay, so when I touch it, it's not sticking to my fingers. So now I'm ready to knead. I'm going to take this, and you're just going to put just enough flour that it doesn't stick. And so it should be dry in the bowl like that. Now I'm just going to take this knife and scrape off the rest here. And I'm just going to toss it in the flour a little bit. Now you're going to knead it for 5 minutes. So I'm just going to have a look at my clock to see. And it is 9:45. All right, so I'm going to knead it for 5 minutes, and this is how you knead. Okay, I'm going to put some flour in my hands here. You fold over, push with the heel of your hand, turn. Fold over, push, turn. Fold over, push, turn. Fold over, push, turn. Now you're going to keep doing this for 5 minutes minimum, okay? And if it's too sticky, just add a little more flour, okay? You don't want to over flour it either, because then it gets too hard. So only add the flour if you need to. So I've got this, but I might not use it. I'll only use it if it's sticking. Okay, so remember, knead for 5 minutes. Okay, so I have been kneading this for 5 minutes, and what you're looking for is it should be nice and smooth. You can see that? It's not sticky. I used most of the flour up, but really it's just a beautiful pliable dough and nice and smooth. Once it's done and you've kneaded it for at least 5 minutes, you're going to put it in your greased bowl. And what I like to do is drop it in and then turn it over so the grease side is up, okay? And then you're going to cover it with a clean tea towel so it doesn't dry out. And you're going to need to find a warm spot to proof this. So we call it proving, where it needs to rise. Okay, so what I like to do is I put mine above my toaster oven here. And the recipe says that it should rise for 15 minutes. Well, that's because at school we are short on time. I would suggest you let it rise for half an hour to an hour. You want it to double in size if possible, okay? So if you only have time for 15 minutes, it will work. It's not ideal. So if you can let it rise till it doubles in size, which is about a half an hour to an hour, and then I'll do the next demo on showing you how to work with the dough, okay? All right, so my dough is rising, and it's been about a half an hour. I'll check it in a few minutes, but while I'm waiting for that, I'm going to make the toppings for the pretzels. A small piece of cheddar cheese. Doesn't matter whatever you want to use. You can actually use white cheese, cheddar cheese, whatever you have on hand. But whatever you're using, you do want to use the small grater, okay? So a smaller piece, you don't want too much. And grate the cheese on the small grater. Now, if you don't want to make pizza pretzels, you want to make them just plain salted pretzels, that's totally fine as well. I'll talk about that in a minute or two and how to do that. Okay, so this is just one way of doing it. So if you have cheese and you have the ingredients, then do the pizza pretzels. Otherwise, there are other things that you can do. All right, so there we have grated cheddar cheese. And I just put it on parchment paper. You can use paper towel, wax paper, and it's just so that it's easy to transport. Okay, so that's why I like to do it on some kind of paper. In one of the custard cups, you're going to be putting in Parmesan cheese and basil. And again, if you don't have it, that's fine. It's not crucial, but Parmesan cheese, 15 mils, and then 1 ml of basil. You can use whatever herbs you want. I'm using basil, and that goes in one custard cup. And then in this one, I'm using a pizza sauce that's pre-made, ready to go. If you don't have this, you can use plain tomato sauce, that's totally fine. And I'm just going to give this a shake. And you want to put in 30 mils, so about 2 15 ml spoons. Doesn't have to be super exact, as this is just going to be used to brush onto your pretzels. Scrape that out. Okay, so that is ready. So I've got my 3 things: the pizza sauce, your cheese and basil, and regular cheese. If you don't want to do the pizza pretzels, what you can do is, in a little bowl, crack an egg, take out the egg yolk, and just use the white. Mix the egg white with 1 tablespoon or 15 mils of water and beat that with a whisk. Okay, so with egg white plus 15 mils of water, beat it up really well. And then you're going to brush that onto the pretzel and sprinkle salt on, and that works beautiful, okay? The other option is do the egg white with the water, brush it on, and then you can sprinkle cinnamon sugar on. So sugar mixed with a little bit of cinnamon if you want a sweet pretzel. So those are 2 options that you can use instead of the pizza. Now I'm just going to get the dough here. So it should be doubled in size. Mine is pretty good. One way you can tell whether the dough has risen, or we call it proofing, is make a depression with your fingers and it should stay indented. And so that looks about right. So mine is good. Now you want to have your counters clean. It should be clean and dry for your counter for the next step. All right, I'm going to put that on there. You're going to take a knife and you're going to cut the dough in half. It's going to make 2 pizza pretzels. So at school you each get 1. Here at home you make 2. Okay. So I'm going to shape them into pretzels now. So you want a clean, dry counter. When you are rolling, you want to roll from the center out. And once you start rolling, you're committed. You can't re-roll it like Play-Doh. Okay, so watch carefully. I'm going to do 2 of these. So first, here's the first one. Start from the center and roll out. And there is about the length that I want. So about, there we go. Once you have it this length, I'm going to bring this over like this. And from about this end here, from this length here, you're going to cross over and then twist. This, and then twist, tuck under, like that, and transfer it onto the cookie sheet. Okay, I'm going to do the second one here. Now this will be a little closer view so you can see. Start from the center, stretch, start from the center, stretch, and there you go. All right, now you're going to bring it over, and you're going to, from about this end here, twist, tuck it under, like so, and then onto the cookie sheet. Now you're going to take your brush, and you're going to brush the pizza sauce on, and just dab it on. If you're not using pizza sauce, this is when you would brush the egg white mixture. 1 egg white with 15 mils of water, and you would brush that on. And this is just going to add a really nice pizza flavor. Okay, so just use it all up. And this is one reason I like to use the foil, is because it gets a bit messy here. And this makes it really nice for cleaning up. Now, I'm going to put the cheddar cheese on. And you can use whatever cheese you want. And then the last is the Parmesan and basil. And again, if you don't have the Parmesan, you can omit that and just do plain cheese. And if you don't want to put herbs on, you certainly don't have to. And now I'm just going to lift this paper up and go like that. And now the Parmesan cheese. And this says Parmesan and basil. Now at school, we just put these right into the oven and bake them at this point because we don't have time to let them rise. But I'm going to let these rise for 15 minutes before I put them in the oven, okay? So another rise for about 15 minutes, if you have time, would be ideal. So you just want them to lighten up a bit, okay? Okay, so I've let them rise for about 15 minutes, and I'm going to put them in. Now the oven is really hot, so you do want to make sure that you use an oven mitt and put your head back. And every oven is going to be different. Some will be done in 10 minutes, some maybe 12 or 14. What you're looking for is golden brown, and then when you press on the middle of it, it should bounce back. And that's really important, okay? So you're going to have to use your judgment on this one because every oven is different. So I'm going to put them in, head back, hot oven, then put the timer on and I'll start checking in at 10 minutes. Okay, my buzzer has gone off and I did it about 12 minutes and I'll have a look. Okay. Pull it out. It's bouncing back. It's looking good. I think it's done. Take it out. Turn it off. And there you have it. So when you press on the middle, it should bounce back and it's looking good. And then you can just right away just take them off the cookie sheet. And they should come off nicely, like so. And then for cleanup, you just can take this, crunch it up, and put it in the garbage, and you don't have much of a cleanup. All right, enjoy. I'm looking forward to seeing what your pizza pretzels look like. Happy baking.